Yes. Hi everyone. So before I start, can everyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not, right? Yes.
Yes,
Fine,
voice
thank
is clear.
So today I'll be just going with the technical part, right? Like what is PSF, Python Software Foundation, Python versions, installation and execution modes, right? Step by step. Python Software Foundation. Python Software Foundation, right? Yes. PSF, right? What is that? PSF is a Python Software Foundation. It is a non-profit organization, right? It is a non-profit organization devoted towards Python community, right? Python community, right? It was launched in the year, PSF was launched in the year, right? Launched in the year 2001, almost like 20, more than 22 years ago, right? It was launched. And the objective, right? Yes, the objective of this Python's objective is to foster the development of Python version to version, right? To foster the development of Python version to version. In the year 2005, right? PSF, Python Software Foundation, received, right? Computer World Horizon Award. PSF received Computer World Horizon Award. Right. The president for this, right? The president for this, Guido van Rossum. Guido van Rossum is the personality who has developed the same personality, right? Who has developed Python, who has introduced Python. The same personality is the president for this PSF. Headquarters. Where are the headquarters located, right? Delaware, right? US. Official website of Python. Official website www.python.org, right? Python.org is the official website from where we can download Python, from where we can see the documentation of Python, right? Yes. So this Python Software Foundation, PSF, right? Yes. The community devoted towards Python, right? And Python, before we go with the installation of Python, right? You need to know something about the Python versions. Python versions, right? Yes. Okay. Python 1.x. Python 1.x. The first version was released in the year 1989. Python 2.x version. In the year 2000, right? 10 years later, the second version, right? 2.x means 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, right? Now, the version what we are using currently, Python 3 version, right? Yes, Python 3 version. It was released in the year 2008. Python 3 version was released in the year 2008. Latest version of Python. Latest version of Python, right? Yes. Latest version is Python 3.11, right? Python 3.11. That's what we are using currently. Like stable version of Python. Stable version of Python, right? Yes. Stable version of Python is Python 3.9. You may ask, what do you mean by stable version, right? I'm writing it just within the bracket. Stable version, nothing but mostly used version, right? Mostly used version, right? That is 3.9, right? Yes. So this is something about the Python versions. We are going to install this latest version, right? 3.11. How to download and how to install it, right? Step by step. Yes.
I have one question here, but you told Python was launched in 2001, but your version 1.0 you mentioned as 1989.
Python was introduced, Python was developed in the year 1989, right? Almost like more than 30 years ago, right? It was released. And uh, this is regarding this community,
Okay,
PSF, PSF, PSF. PSF was found in the year 2001. It's a
okay,
software community, right? PSF, it was found in the 2001, right? Fine.
thank you.
Okay, Python installation. Python installation, right? So I'm going to this, right? I'll show you from the scratch. Okay. So Python 3.11.3 uninstalling, right? I will just uninstall this and I'll show you. Just hardly it takes 5 minutes to do this installation of Python. So Python is getting uninstalled. So Python provides different softwares for different environments. It's cross-platform language. Like Python supports can be installed on Windows, Linux, Mac OS. I said for Linux, no need of any special installation. Already by default, it is inbuilt within this Linux, right? And for Windows and Mac OS, we need to install it, right? We need to install Python. So for Windows, again, it provides two software for Windows. Python provides two software for Windows. For Windows 32-bit, for Windows 64-bit. For Windows 32-bit, a separate software. For Windows 64-bit, a separate software. So how can you check whether your Windows is a 32-bit or 64-bit means? Okay. Whenever you open, right? Open your PC. Right click on is right click on the properties. What it is saying clearly? 64-bit operating system. I think most of you has got 64-bit operating. Uh, older versions of this Windows, right? If you have got 32-bit operating system, you are supposed to download 32-bit operating, that is 32-bit Python software. If it is 64-bit OS, you are supposed to download 64-bit Python software. So just observe now how to download Python, right? Downloading Python. This is successful, right? An installation was successful. Now open Chrome browser. You can open a browser window and just say what is the official website, right? Official website. Python.org. Python.org is the official website, right? From where we can download, right? Yes, just you can see python.org is the official website of Python. You got that previous video, yesterday's video, have you got it? You got the link, right? Everyone to your mail?
No, sir.
No one has received?
Oh, no.
No one has received this YouTube video links to your mail. Check your mail, right?
Yeah, we
Yes,
have
yes,
Yes,
shared.
sir, we get it
Your-
on our
your-
mail.
Yes, you have message received, right? So if you have given that correct mail IDs and everything, right? Yesterday, today also, if whatever meeting you have joined, right? Yes. So still, if you have not received, also not a problem. Next, once after 2 days, you'll be getting the videos to your Google Drive.
Okay. So all the previous videos also, right?
All the previous videos from day one onwards, you'll be getting to
Okay.
your Google Drive, right?
Okay.
So the first 4-5 videos will be kept in the YouTube, right? That the link will be provided to you in mail, but later a Google Drive every day one video gets added to that, right?
Okay. So do you need to connect with someone if we're not getting the videos, at least for now?
Today, whatever, once again, right? Today, whatever, okay, one second. Now after 15-20 minutes, they will post you that in the chart panel, the videos link, right?
Okay.
After 15-20 minutes, right? The online team will post in the Zoom chat, right? The links for the YouTube, right? You can copy that.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So go to python.org. Go to this python.org, right? Yes. Within this python.org, downloads folder, right? All releases, right? Yes. Within that all releases, right? Uh, don't go for this. Go for looking for a specific release. Looking for a specific release, right? Yes. Now you can see from the last 20 years, right? Or from the last 20 years, what all the versions, right? All the versions you can see here, right? So June 22, 2001, right? Yes, 1 second. Okay, from the last 20 years, right? From last 20 years, whatever we get, you can see here from June 22, 2001, that is Python 2 version, right? Yes. 3 point, you can see, right? The version what we are going to install is 3.11.3. When it was released, when that version was released, the version was released on April 5, like almost like 40 days back, right? This version was released 2023, right? Yes. Yes. Now just click this Python 3.11.3. Yes. 3.11.3. Yes, click it. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, right? Windows 32-bit and Windows 64-bit, right? Windows 32 and Windows 64. So if your Windows is 32-bit, select this. Windows is 64, click it, right? And people Mac OS, right? You can just go with this Mac OS 64-bit universal installer, right? And for this Windows, select this 64-bit. Just hardly it takes. Yeah, it's download finished. It takes 24 MB of size, right? Nearly like 24 or 25 MB of size. Download finished. Very small size. If you just click this, right? If you just click this, a window gets opened. So window gets opened in this way, right? So don't immediately go for installation. First, add this Python at the bottom. If you want your Python to get recognized, right? If you want your Python to get recognized, yes, if you want your Python to get recognized, select it at the bottom. Add Python to path. Add Python to path. Go for customize installation. Go for what? Customize installation, right? Yes. Okay. Say next. Say next. So everything is here back. If I go this, nothing to select, documentation, PIP, ideally all are selected, right? Nothing to select here. Say next. Here also like advanced option, nothing to select. Check here Python to environmental variables. Is it checked or not? That one thing you can see. And see that where it is getting installed, where it is getting installed in C drive, in users, Dell, app data, local, programs, Python, Python 3.11, right? It is getting installed somewhere in C drive in some subfolders. Tomorrow, if you want to locate Python, you need to enter into all these subdirectories, right? It's very difficult to locate Python. So remove all this. Just place your mouse before this Python 3.11 and remove all this. Remove all this, right? Remove all this. Just installing Python in the C drive, right? C/Python 3.11. What is Python 3.11? 3.11. A folder with the name. A folder with the name Python 3.11 is going to get created, right? C/Python 3.11, right? Yes. Install. You can say what? Install, right? Say. That's it. Within the C drive, a Python 3.11 folder gets created. Within that, it is getting installed, right? Yes. It hardly takes just 1 minute for installing Python, right? Yes. Okay, fine. Setup was successful, right? Setup was successful. Close it, right? Now, how will you check whether this Python is successfully installed or not? Means go to this command, go to this command prompt, right? Typing CMD here. In the search, type CMD and press enter, right? This is the command prompt, right? You can just type Python, 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 right? Yes. Okay. You can see Python version that you have installed. You can see this Python version that you have installed, and can you see these 3 arrow symbols, right? 3 arrow symbols, right? This is what Python interpreter, where you can type any valid Python code and you can interact with Python statement by statement, right? Check this. 5 + 2, it gives the response, right? X equal to J, like that. X equal to Ajay, right? A string. Y equal to Kumar, right? Yes. X plus Y, Ajay Kumar, right? Any valid Pythons. So you can Ajay Kumar, right? Yes. A equal to 3, B equal to 2, right? A value, what is B value? No need to give the data types, right? A into B, right? 6. A plus B, right? Yes. Any valid Python statements, right? X into 3 means Ajay for 3 times. Fine. So if you say quit, you will come out of this. Is what interactive mode. For every statement you type, it gives response, right? So Python is successfully installed, right? Fine. So if anyone from Linux environment, right? If you are using Python within the Linux environment, by default you see Python, right? No need of any separate installation. But still, if you're going with older version of Linux, but if you want the latest version of Python to be installed, right? So you can go with this command, right? Just one command is enough. So see, everything we install from the root user in Linux, right? So sudo you say apt-get install, right? Get install Python 3.11. That's it. This command is enough to downloads and installs Python within the Linux machine, right? Yes. Once again, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear or not?
Yes, it is clear.
It's
Yes,
clear.
sir, it's very much clear.
Thank you. Next is like Python software foundation. Sorry. Python execution modes. Python execution modes, right? Yes. 2 modes of execution. 2 modes of execution. First one, just now I discussed, right? Interactive mode. Interactive mode. Second one is like batch mode. Python supports 2 modes. Interactive mode, it supports batch mode. Talk about Java, see, they support only batch mode, right? There is no kind of statement by statement interaction, right? In C or Java. Interactive mode means here we directly type. Here we directly type Python statements, right? We directly type Python statements on the interpreter. Just now we have typed, right? X, A plus B, A minus B, A into B, A is 10, A is 30, right? In that way. Python statements on the interpreter. And the user can easily interact. If you got any query, you can just unmute and you can ask then and there here itself, right? You can have the sessions interactive from here on. You'll be entering into this technical concepts.
Sir, we didn't install any editor.
Yes, I'm coming to that batch mode, right?
Okay.
Batch mode, I'll be discussing it.
Okay.
Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact. User can easily interact, right? With Python statement by statement. Okay, what is the advantage you get from this interactive mode, right? What is, you may ask, what is the advantage you get from this? For example, if it doesn't have knowledge on a particular functionality, right? If you type on this interactive mode, it gives the response. By seeing the response, you can analyze it, what it is for. Means to test the functionalities of Python, right? To test the functionalities of Python. And to learn Python. To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python, right? Yes. Okay, but
Sir, I
yes.
have one query.
Yes.
So you have mentioned here we can Python statements on the we can directly type the Python statements on the interpreter. What does that mean? Interpreter as in you're telling we need to write the query in the.
So here, CMD, if you say right in the search panel, press
Okay.
enter.
Okay.
If you say Python, right,
Mhm.
say enter. This 3 arrow symbol, right?
Yes.
This where you can type any valid Python statements here. So
Okay.
here you directly, you can, for example, X is 10, Y is 4, right? We are
Okay.
directly typing statements on the interpreter, right?
Okay.
We
Okay.
are typing the statements on the interpreter and we are interacting, right? What is X I am asking? What is Y I am asking? What is X plus Y I am asking, right? And
Yes.
I'm interacting with it statement by statement, right?
Yeah.
Understood now? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Fine. So yes, to test the functionalities and to learn Python. But for developing applications in Python, right, this interactive mode is not preferred. Only when to go for interactive mode means for learning Python, for the beginners, for learners, and for testing any functionalities, right, you can go for interactive mode. For developing applications, right, go for batch mode. Batch mode means here like batch of statements, set of statements, like some 10 lines code you will write, right? So here, what do you mean by batch mode means here we write set of statements, where you will write the set of statements within the editors, I'll say what are the various editors, IDs. We'll write set of statements within the editors or IDs, right? And save it by using .py extension, and later submit to Python, and later submit that file to Python. Understand carefully. We write set of statements within the editors or IDs. Save it by using .py extension and later submit that file to Python. So what are the various editors where we can write the Python code? What are the various editors? Various editors where we can write the Python code, right? Notepad. Within the notepad, you can write the Python code and create a .py file. Save it by using .py. Edit plus, there is one more like edit plus, right? Within that also, within the Windows, you can write code within this edit plus. But people from Linux, right? If you have got knowledge on Linux and if you want to write some Python, create a Python file, you have got VI editor, nano editor, right? Those who are from Linux background might be knowing what is VI and what is nano, right? But text editors, right? In Linux, you have text editors in Windows, right? Using these two for Windows, these are for Linux, right? For creating a .py file, editors these are. But what are the in real time? We use IDs, right? Various IDs supported by Python. So I'm going to show you not on one or two, like 4 to 5 IDs I'll be showing you, right? Yes. Various IDs, right? Like PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter Notebook, right? Jupyter Notebook, VS Code, right? VS Code. So these are all these IDs supported by Python, right? So among all this PyCharm is the mostly used ID, mostly used one, right? Yes. So as part of our course also we'll be using mostly PyCharm, right? So you may ask, you may get a query, right? Why these many IDs for Python? Why not one or two like Java?
So can we use Jupyter Notebook throughout the course?
So I'm coming to that, right?
Okay.
So why these many IDs, you may ask? Why not one or two IDs? Means Python is used for creating different types of applications, right, for different environments. Python used for data science environment, for big data environment, for web applications creations within this IoT, in robotics, that in different environments they are going to use different IDs. Means for example, data science, like machine learning, deep learning, they use mostly like Jupyter notebook for data analysis, for plottings, visualizations, right? And Spider is preferred even in big data, right? Spider is preferred, Jupyter notebook is preferred for big data and data science environment. For typical web applications, right, PyCharm is preferred mostly, VS Code is preferred, right, Eclipse is preferred, right? So in this way, different environments, they use different IDs, right, for that. So here, Jupyter notebook for data analysis, data predictions, data science environment, big data environment, mostly preferred. So in our course, I'll be showing you how to download, right, these various IDs like PyCharm, Jupyter notebook, Spider, VS Code, all this, right? Many IDs, mostly used IDs, right? Anaconda distribution. I'm going to show you Anaconda distribution, Anaconda prompt and navigator in Jupyter notebook, Spider, Eclipse, all this. I'll be showing you, right? Yes. And PyCharm professional and PyCharm community, both are there. Both I'll be showing you how to download and how to install step by step. This ID is right. I'll be showing you how to download and how to install, right? Once we are done with little bit of technical code, right, I'll be showing you this how to work with these different types of IDs. Every 1 week or 10 days, I'll be showing you on one ID, right? Every 10 days we work with some ID, right? Downloading, installing, and working. Your code is not going to change. Only the environment, right? It's going to change, right? Python code remains the same in all the IDs. Okay, now developing the first Python application. Observe this. Developing the first up. So developing the first Python application, right? Yes. Within a editor. So keeping all the students in point, right? People from non-program, everything, the sessions post, right? So each and everyone need to understand everything, right? Yes. If you got any queries, you can ask. Developing the first Python application within editor, like Notepad. Example like Notepad, right? Yes. Open Notepad and type the following Python statements. So open Notepad and type the following Python statements. Open Note and okay. Up to now, you doesn't know anything about Python, right? Yes. So just I'll take two values, x as 10, y as 20, two values, and I will perform arithmetic operations, right? Print x plus y, print x minus y, x into y, and x by y, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, arithmetic operations by taking two values, right? So I'll just copy these things to a separate notepad file and create a .py file. Okay. Go open notepad, separate notepad file, right? Just I'm pasting the code here, right? Save file, save, right? So here just I've taken two values, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. File within the notepad, I'm saving it as this batch, right? Python 10 p.m. batch. Check this. So here I'll save it as sample1.py. What is that? Sample1.py extension, right? Yes. So here I'm writing within this save as sample1.py, right? Okay, fine. Save as sample1.py and now submit this file right? Submit this file to Python. How you are going to submit this file to Python? Now go to the search, go to the command prompt by typing cmd, say enter. Go to the search panel, type cmd and go to the command prompt. Yes, type Python, don't say enter. If you say enter, you will go to interactive mode, statement by statement interaction. I doesn't want that. So submit your file to Python, where your file is available. Submit that file to Python, right? Within the C drive, right? Slash Python 10 p.m. batch, 10 p.m. batch, right? Yes. Python 10 p.m. batch, within the 10 p.m. batch. Sample1.py, right? See Python 10 p.m. batch, right? Sample1.py. Say enter. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. You got the output, right? So where your file is present, in which folder and in which drive. So just give this, right? Yes. Submit to Python.
Sir, can you please repeat once?
Yes. Yes. So 1 second. I'm closing this. So once you save this file as within the notepad, you write this code and say as sample1.py, you save it in folder, in one folder, right? You create one folder and in that folder you can save it. In the search at the bottom, right, you can type cmd to enter to the command prompt, right? And say enter, right? And just type, I want to submit my Python file to Python. So type Python here and submit the file. How to submit the file means give the entire file path, where it is present, where your file is present in the C drive, Python 10 p.m. batch, Python 10 p.m. batch. Within that sample1.py, sample1.py. Understood, right? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The file in which folder, in which drive, entire path you give to Python space. Say enter, it displays the output 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Yes.
Sir, I have one question here. So for
Yes.
example, I don't remember where is my Python present. So how can we check where is
Yes.
my
Yes. 1 second. So create a folder in C drive, Python programs or Python 10 p.m. batch, right? In that save all your Python files. Here I'm doing the same, right? Python 10 p.m. batch, all your programs I'll be saving in this particular folder only. And here, okay, I'm coming to that point, but here you see little complex, right? You're feeling little complex, right? Writing in the notepad, executing in the command prompt.
Yes.
Here, what is your observation? Here, we are writing the code. We are writing the code. Please be in mute. Here, we are writing the code at one place. We are writing the code at one place, right? Where you are writing within the notepad and executing at the other place. Where you are executing within the command prompt, right? Yes, you are writing at one place and executing at other place. But to write and execute, but to write and execute, right? At the same place. To write and execute at the same place. We have IDLE. So your query was that entire path in which for each drive, which folder, and what is the file name. It's very difficult to remember, right?
Yes.
So to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE. which comes along with Python installation, right? Yes. Please be in mute. Getting sound. So you can ask query and you can go into mute, and otherwise you can give response and you can go into mute, right? Getting sounds. So here we have ideally which comes along with Python installation, using which, where you can see this ideally, how it comes means whenever you install Python, you will get this ideally. Using which we can write and execute, at the same place. Right? Yes. We can write and execute at this. Now I will show you, right? Just this is your code, right? Two values performing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Right. Observe carefully here. How to open this ideally, which comes along with Python, and how to write and execute the code means go to the start programs with the bottom left corner, go to the start programs. In this, all apps will be there, right? Check where your Python is available here. Python 3.11. The first thing what you see here, ideally, right? When you open Python folder, what is the first thing you see? IDLE. Click that ideally, Python shell gets opened. This is the Python shell open, right? Python 3.11.3. This is the interpreter. You can interact with it statement by statement, 3 plus 4, 3 into 6. Any statements. But I doesn't want this interactive mode. I want batch mode. File, new file, you say, right? Observe here, file, new file, you say. Write the code here, write your code here. Here itself, run option is there, right? RUN. Can you see here, everyone? Run. Here itself, we are writing the code. Here itself, we can run, execute, right? Yes. So, but before that, you need to save your file. Compulsory, you need to save your file, right? py.py, right? Yes. Now run here, run module, you say 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20. Once again, you see, you are writing here itself, here run module, you are getting the output here itself. We are not entering any that folder name, drive name, file name right here. Directly we write and we'll execute here. Understood, everyone? So
Yes.
once again, I'll say, right, either you can go to this here start programs, otherwise in the search, here you have got search, right? Search for IDLE, right? Here it will get Python IDLE 3.11, right? You can see this. I have got all the versions installed, 3.8, 3.9, 3.10, 3.9, all the IDLEs I got. I want ideally Python 3.11. Select it, it gets opened like this, right? Here it opens in interactive mode if you want to interact, but batch mode means file, new file, you say, write your code here, save it and run here. Understood, everyone? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Here no need to type all that, writing it notepad, executing in the command prompt, but directly here itself we can write and execute the code, right? Yes, understood. You can just give a try, right? Installation of Python and this execution most. Okay, fine. So here, okay, so that is what, and later I'll show you IDs, how to step by step, how to download and how to install the IDs, right? Step by step, and how to run the code on this later. Once we are done with a little bit, first you can work on this ideally, right? And coming to
Sir,
this, yes.
sir, in your statement, there is and with this all these are in other color. Is this because of keyword
Yes, this end. See, Python
and
provides
type?
so this is what ideally I'm typing on this ideally, whatever you are executing the code, right? This everything, this is what your code, right? Sample, saved it, running it. I'm typing here itself, right? So Python provides different colors for different functionalities. For print in violet color, keywords in orange color, comment in red color. So here where I'm typing this code in IDLE, right? Yes. So it provides different colors for different functionalities. Okay. Data
These
types.
functions are inbuilt, right, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We'll be discussing all those, right, step by step. What are the features, keywords, functions, methods, comments. Understood, right? Developing the first Python application within the notepad you can write and you can execute on command prompt, but everything within the single test go for IDLE. Integrated Development Learning Environment. What is the full form of IDLE? Integrated Development Learning Environment. Okay. So just I'll give introduction to this data types right today. I mean, entering into the technicals. Data types. Every organization, right, has got, every organization has got data and operations, data represented using, right, data types or variables, data represented using data types or variables, operations represented, right, using functions, right? Data represented using data types or variables, operations represented using functions. For example, if you take the example of a bank has got customers, right? Customers has got data and operations. Same customer data, customer ID, customer name, account number, balance, branch, all that is customer data. Operations of customer using functions, deposit operation, transfer operation, withdraw operation, right? All this. So for data, we go for data types variables. For operations, we use functions. Functions later we discuss, but our discussion is data types or variables. Observe this carefully, right? I'll say what happens internally when you define a variable, right? From the scratch, we'll discuss. Fine. Just observe. If you, okay, if you have knowledge on other programming or not, if you compare C, C++, Java with Python, right? Comparison. Here, Python supports dynamic data types. It supports what? Dynamic data types. What do you mean by dynamic data types? In other programming slide, if you want to give X value as 10, compulsory I need to say int, integer. Y as 4.5, if I want to give, I need to say float, something in decimal. If I give in a sequence collection of characters, string I need to give, right? But in Python, no need to provide all those. Directly you can say X value as 10, Y as some 4.5, Z as string, Z as hello. No need to provide this int or float or string. But in other programming, what kind of variable X is means based on this data type defining? Based on this data type defining, we are saying it as integer type. Y is what type? Float type. Z is what type? String type. But here in Python, what is X? What kind of variable X is? What kind of variable Y is? What kind of variable Z is means? What value you are assigning to X? What value you are assigning to X? If you are assigning a integer variable, integer, if you're assigning a integer value, integer variable is getting created dynamically. If you assign a float value, float variable is created. If you're assigning a string. So there is a function called type function. Type of X is what type? int type. Why it is integer? Because you have assigned an integer value. There is a function, type function. What is type of y? Float. Why it is float? Because you assigned a float in decimal. Type of z is what type? String. Why it is string? Because you assigned a string value. Understood, right, everyone? What you are assigning, no need to define int x, float y, string directly. You can assign the values.
Sir, I have one doubt. So
Yes.
you are telling in other programming language we have to explicitly define, but in Python we don't have to do anything. It will do it implicitly, right?
Yes. Based on what value you are assigning, the variable gets created accordingly.
Okay.
So to more discussion on this, right, I'll be discussing some 4 cases on this to better understand this, right? So just understand these 4 cases. I'll first understand this. In the tomorrow session, I'll be showing you practically about all these 4 cases. Case 1, observe this case 1, right? Whenever you define a variable like x as 10, whenever you define a variable x as 10, what happens internally is it will be stored in the memory, right? Any value will be stored in the memory, right? So an object will be created with value 10 that will be stored in the memory with some address. That address will be given to x. Now everyone try to observe carefully and say what x is storing. Don't say like x is storing 10. X stores this address. Whenever we say 3 things you need to understand here. Whenever I say print x, if I want to print the x value, it goes to this address and prints whatever present in that address. Print x means what is it? Prints the content at that address. That is 10, right? 1 second. Whenever you are saying print x means print the content at that address, means it goes to this address and prints whatever present at that address, that is 10. Prints the content, simply saying prints the content. If I want to print this address, right, Python providing id function, id of x, prints the address of x. Prints the address of x means 103070, right? And if you want to know what type of variable it is, type function is given. Python providing type function. Prints the data type of x, means what is assigned to x? Integer. So the type will be integer type. Prints the data type of x. What type it is? Integer type, right? So understood, printing the content, printing the address, and printing the type. Everyone.
Yes.
This is case 1. Understanding much better. Go to this case 2. So from here on, I want everyone to interact and give your response, whether it is correct or wrong. Try to give your responses, right? You are just entering into this technical part. Case 2. X value is 10. You can unmute yourself and you can give your response, or even you can give through chart panel. X is 10, Y is 20. How many objects are created? Everyone. For X is 10, Y is 20. How many objects will be created?
1 for each variable.
Yes. For X equal to 10, one object gets created with some address. The address is given to X. Y equal to 20, one object gets created with some address. The address is given to Y, right? Now, Try to say what is X value, print X. Everyone try to give a response. What is print X?
10.
10. Print ID of X, you say. ID of X, address.
1030.
Type, data type of X. Type of X is what type? Integer type. And print Y. What is the Y value?
20.
20. ID of Y?
104080.
Type of Y?
Integer.
Integer, right? Yes. So here observe carefully, two different variables X and Y with two different values 10 and 20, right? With two different objects with two different addresses, right? Two different variables, two different values, two different objects with two different addresses, right? Yes, this is case 2. Okay, understood, right? Two different variables. Observe this case 3. X value is 10. Y value is 10. Try to answer how many objects are going to get created, everyone.
2.
2.
Observe carefully here, only one object is going to get created, right? With value 10, with some address, only one object. This is fine, right? But before creating object for Y, it checks any object with value 10 if it's already available in the memory, available, right? The same address will be given to Y.
Yes.
For X is 10, Y is 10, if Z also 10, right? Don't think that 3 objects with value 10 gets created. No, duplicate objects won't be. Only one object, its address is given to X, Y, and Z. For example, try to answer if X is 10, Y is 20, Z is 30. How many objects? 3 different objects created. But if the values are same, only one object. Means X, Y, Z, they are sharing the same content and the address, right? I can say like print X equal to print Y equal to print Z equal to what is the value for all this? 10. Address also, right? Print address of X equal to address of Y and address of Z. 10407. What is that? 10307.
307.
Understood, right? This case 3 if the values are same, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Understood, right, everyone? Any queries in this? So case 4 is there, right? But that case 4, other things, all these cases I'll show you practically in the tomorrow's class, right? All this, I'll also discuss case 4 and all the 4 cases I'll show you practically in the tomorrow sessions. Any queries as part of today's session, right? Everyone. So today what we have discussed, right? Python software foundation, right? What is the community, right? Python version, Python installation, Python execution modes, developing the first Python application and introduction to the data types, right? So once again, tomorrow I'll brief you about these 4 cases and I'll show you practically and the different types of data. Any queries you have got, right? Same, this is the course content, right? Operators in Python, Python IDs, flow control, looping, strings, collections, list, tuples, sets, dictionaries, functions, modules, packages, errors and exception, file handling, object-oriented programming, regular expressions, database connections, datetime module, OS module, advanced iterator, generator, closure, decorator, GUI programming, Excel workbook, data analytics, introduction to data science, pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, and people who go for full stack, right? Total like Django framework and see introduction, web frameworks, Django installation, Django project architecture, Django views, Django templates, admin models, all this, right? 1 second, where it went. advanced concepts, Django, right? Introduction, web frameworks, installation, applications creation, Django templates, admin models, advanced concepts, and web development, UI technologies, right? You need to have this knowledge of HTML will be discussed in brief, CSS in brief, JavaScript in brief. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and MySQL, right? Everything will be discussed in brief, right? Yes. Okay, fine. So tomorrow you'll be getting this okay notes now in the videos links, right? YouTube videos link of today's session and the yesterday's day before session, and this notes to your mail IDs. Your mail IDs, right? Yes. And check it. Any queries, right? Any other queries? Tomorrow also you can attend the session, everyone. Same time at 10 o'clock using the same link, right? Yes. Yes. Mostly tomorrow or mostly from day after tomorrow, the link might be changing. So you need to get enrolled for getting that link, and also for getting the videos, notes, and you will be added to the WhatsApp. A WhatsApp group will be created for this batch. And clearly it is said, right? The timing of this batch, right? Once again, I'm reminding you the timing of this batch. For the 1 week or first 1 week, 10 days, it will be at 10 o'clock. But later, the timing of this batch will be at 9 p.m. and 9 o'clock, right? 9 p.m. Fine. Okay. Fine. So any other queries, right? Anyone?
Sir,
I have one
Yes,
question.
yes,
In
yeah.
case 3, so now initially we assigned value as 10 for all 3 variables. So in case if we going to override, I mean in next step, if I'm going to assign
Yes, yes,
excess 10.
I understood that,
20.
right? Keep that query with you, right? That is case 4 I'm supposed to discuss.
Okay, okay.
So
Thank you.
tomorrow, once again, you can just, if you've got any other query other than that, you can just repeat the query tomorrow at the start of the session, right? After
Sure.
discussing case 4. Fine.
Sure, thank you.
So that is axis 10, axis 20, you are saying, right?
Yeah, right. So
Yeah,
it is going to
that is,
override or create a new.
that is, yes, that is a lot of discussion is there for it. So that's why I didn't discuss, that is case 4. Okay, fine. Okay, so
sir,
yes.
actually today is my first class for demo.
Mhm. Today only
How
we
many classes was completed?
today only we are started with this Python basics, right? Python installations, versions, execution modes. Right?
Today is the day 1, sir.
No, day 1, not it's day 1, it's day 3. But first 2 days, just I was briefing you about Python, their features, advantages. So you'll be getting the video of it, right? And go through and check
Okay.
it. Python, just introduction to Python, it was discussed previously, right? From today onwards, the batch
Okay.
is from today onwards, the batch is started, right? Day 1, session 1, right? The previous 2 sessions were just demo sessions, introductory sessions, right?
Sir, please tell me the what are the what is Python front end and back end?
Yes, I'll discuss it. So we are running out of time, right? Yes. So, okay, total full stack will be discussed in this course, right? Everything I'll be covering it. Okay. Any other queries, right? Anyone? Okay, so I'm stopping for now. We'll continue tomorrow, same time, using the same link, right? Yes, fine. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. We'll meet you tomorrow. Okay, fine.